Hello and welcome to the replay. I will be right with you. Hey there everybody, this is Susan Tapley with Couture. I am an independent designer and also an executive couturier with Couture. I am so glad to be here tonight. Things might look a little bit different to you because I have set up my workspace a little bit differently. Tonight I'm going to be working on a really large project. This is one of our E-size transfers, the biggest one that Couture offers. And I just felt like I would be a little bit more comfortable if I was able to stand up and, I don't know, lay things out a little bit better. Sometimes for me, I feel more comfortable standing than sitting, not with just Couture, but with other crafting that I'm doing as well. So I can see that I don't have anyone watching right now, so I'm just going to talk for a couple minutes in case a few people want to pop in. I just flew in from Arizona last night at about midnight. I don't know if it was jet lag or what, but I was up till about 4 a.m. I could not go to sleep. So I'm a little jet lagged today maybe, but I'm excited to show you what I've been planning to do with this design. And yeah, I had a great time in Arizona. I have never been there before. I was probably most surprised to see so many citrus trees in the landscape. That was kind of different for me. So I saw lemon trees, orange trees, grapefruit trees. I don't know, I just did not know that they were there. So let's see if anybody is in. If you are on this live video and can hear my voice and see what's not cut off of my head, please say hello so that I know that you're there. I know I didn't announce this live tonight. I don't know, the day just kind of got away from me. You know how that is? So anyway, so the transfer that I'm using is called Silver White Winters, and it is just a beautiful. It's not a Christmas design at all, but since we are in January, I thought this was quite appropriate for this time of year. So I'm not sure where you're coming from, what neck of the woods you live in, but here in Massachusetts, normally it is icy cold and snowy here, freezing rain, that sort of thing. But while I was in Arizona, somehow it got to about 60 degrees once or twice, and my husband actually went golfing, which is unheard of in Massachusetts. So it's not too bad out right now, but I guess we're going to get some colder weather later this week. So, Silver White Winters is, like I said, an E-size transfer. This is the largest one that we have. If you like this transfer, please let me know. I can order it for you, or you can go to the website listed at the bottom of my screen here. It is going to be leaving our product line, at least retiring as of February 1st. So if you want one, be sure to get it. This is going to be a really pretty project. So I think I'm just going to get started. And of course I did forget my markers, didn't I? It wouldn't be one of Susan Tapley's videos if I didn't forget something important, right? Alright, so I am going to just remove this from the packaging. You might notice that there is a resealable adhesive strip on the bottom or top of all of our transfers, which is great because after you use our transfers, you can wash them, dry them, and put them back on the white carrier sheet that they come with. These can be used over and over and over again. They're not just one-time use. So think about how many people you know that would love to have a beautiful sign just like the ones we're going to be making tonight. So I'm just going to go over here for a second and grab my marker because I do need one. Right there. All right, here we go. So I use a Sharpie marker to mark the backs of all of my transfers, and I also use them to mark the fronts as well. All right, so can you guys just let me know if you can hear me? Don't be shy. All right, so I'm going to write Silver White Winters on the back here. And my initials. So there are a couple different reasons that we always like to write on the backs of our transfers. And the first reason is because when, as I was saying, you can wash this transfer and use it over and over again. So the carrier sheet on one side of it is very, very shiny and slick, kind of like a sticker back would be. So if you ever pulled a sticker off of paper, you might notice that it's glossy and slick. That's the part that you're going to want to reattach your transfer to. The other side is a little bit more dull, and if you happen to stick your transfer to the wrong side, it's usually not the end of the world if you realize it right away. But once they've been stuck on there for a bit, it's really hard to get them off. So that's why I write on the back, so that I remember not to attach it to the wrong side. I put my initials on it so that I know that it is my transfer that I'm actually getting back. If you're working in a group with a lot of people, it's easy to get the transfers mixed up and confused. So on the front side, I also will put my initials anywhere on the teal color transfer. And that is just so that you get your transfer back. Sometimes it's, there's a lot of people working on a project, or if you've loaned them to people, you want to be sure that you get yours back, right? All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the transfer from the carrier sheet. Now the easiest way to do that is to roll your thumb along the edge, and it usually will peel right up like that. I've seen people really struggle trying to get those off, but really roll your thumb along the front side of it and it should peel right back. Now, especially when you're using these large transfers, you want to be super careful that you don't stick the transfer to itself. I can pull it back really carefully this way, or I can flip it over and pull the carrier sheet off of the transfer more like this. And that way it doesn't get stuck to itself. If that does happen to you, and believe me, it does happen sometimes, you want to pull on it really, really gently. But if it feels like it's super, super sticky, put it in warm water and gently pry it apart, and it should be fine. It's a scary thing when it happens, but you can usually save it. So I'm just going to flip this over. Before I do that, I just want to show you that the back side of this transfer is super, super sticky. That being said, sometimes they're not really sticky. Not a lot. This one is actually a pretty decent amount of stickiness, but sometimes they're too sticky. And when that happens, you want to do something we call fuzzing. And what that does is it just softens the adhesive on the back side of the transfer a little bit. So you can do this on a towel, a t-shirt, or this, what I have right here is a Couture fuzzing cloth. A lot of times we'll put them on our t-shirts. You'll see videos of us doing that. However, this is a really big transfer, so I'm not sure that you'd want to do that. You might run that risk of getting all the transfer stuck to itself. So I'm just going to put this on here, the towel side down. The other side is kind of a microfiber, and that's the side that you can use to dry your transfers with. So I'm just putting it down and peeling it. And just a little bit of that fiber from the towel is going to get stuck on top of the transfer. So I'm just going to do that across the whole design. Should take me about four times to get all the way around this. if your transfer doesn't feel like it's very sticky at all, which also happens on occasion, don't fuzz it. You probably won't need to. But this one feels pretty much just like it should, so I am happy with that. I see that I have some viewers coming in. Guys, say hello. Let me know where you are, where you're coming from. If it's snowing where you live, or if it's nice and warm like it is here in Massachusetts. So before I position this in the right place, I always want to check. This chalkboard is called a Greyson Chalkboard, and it does have a hanger that comes on the end of it. This is a Chalk Couture surface. I have on occasion done a chalk project upside down with a hanger on the bottom. So it's a good idea to check for that, so I can feel that my top of my transfer is on this end. So I'm just going to flop this over and find a nice happy position for this design. Centering it is always the hardest part for me. Don't ask me why, it just is. Guys, if you're just coming in, please say hello so I know who's watching. I get lonely talking to myself all the time too, so say hi, hi. All right, I'm gonna move that just a little bit back this way. Sometimes it takes a couple times to get it just right. It should sort of slide across. Yeah, it looks almost. So I've got about a ½ inch on either side. It's still a little wider on one side than the other. Let's move it a little bit. Should be about a ½ inch on each side of this. A little bit more, smidge more. That's pretty good. All right, so once you've got that down, you're going to want to make sure that the design transfer is nice and smooth. You can rub it down with your hands, make sure there are no bumps, bubbles, folds. Sometimes you'll have a little piece of dust, like I can feel one right here, and you just want to peel your transfer off and find it. It's such a tiny little piece of dust, but you sure can feel it. And put that back down. One of the ways that you can be sure that your transfer is nice and smooth is to take a rubber squeegee and kind of starting from the center, squeegee out along the whole design. It's not that important that the blue, the teal part is super perfect, but you want to have your open areas, and those are the areas where you see all the black coming through right here. There's actually a screen that runs through the whole design, which gives you all of the detail you see in our finished products. So hello everybody. Okay, looking good, looking good. So I'm going to turn this around because I feel like it's backwards for me, but I'm going to start at the top of the design and work my way down this transfer. Oh my gosh, on this side it looks crooked. All right, bear with me, I'm going to move it again. I'm sorry, I'm just not good at getting it straight. Especially with these big ones. If you have somebody that can help you get it in the right spot, that's really nice. So, all right, you. It's not cooperating. It happens. It happens. All right, let's see. That should be about the right distance. I think we've got it. That feels good. Okay, I'm happy with that. All right, so I'm going to smooth out this design one more time. Looks pretty good. And I'm going to start at the top of this design and do a technique called paste and peel. If I were to try to do this whole design in one swoop, chances are pretty good that this chalk would dry before I have a chance to pull it off of the surface. And when you're working with Chalkology Paste, you always want to be sure that you paste it on quickly and peel it back while the paste is still wet. Otherwise, the chalk paste will come right up with that soap stream. So I think we're almost ready. All right, so the colors that I've chosen to use today are Bright White. That's a big surprise, right? And Morning Sky, which is a light blue. I think that's going to look really, really pretty on this black chalkboard. So the chalkboard, by the way, a few minutes before I came live, had a beautiful fall design on it. I sprayed it with water, scrubbed it with a little scrubbing disc that we sell. It's called a board eraser, and I washed it right away. It was really kind of hard to do. It was really a pretty piece. However, it's winter, it's not fall anymore. And as I said before, you can use these transfers over and over again. So when I'm ready, when fall fall is here. If I want to do that design again, I can just wash off the winter and put on the fall one, right? Okay, so this is what our chalk paste looks like. They come in a 3-ounce jar. We also have something called chalk paste singles, which are tiny little, I just got chalk dust all over here, little packets, kind of like a ketchup packet, and they have small bits of paste in them. Certainly not big enough for this project, so we're going to use our 3-ounce jars. And the first thing that you always do when you're working with your chalk is give them a good stir. You want them to be about the consistency of cake batter. If it feels like brownie batter, heavier than cake batter, all you need to do is grab a little bit of water and just spray a little bit. I don't know, water here. And just a little plain old water. Stir it, stir it, stir it until you get the consistency that you want. So this looks pretty good. And I'm also going to do the same thing with this one. This is a light blue called Morning Sky. Just got this in today. I think these two colors are like kind of like an icy blue look that I'm kind of going for. So I hope it'll look nice. So I don't know if you can see this. I'm not very close to my camera. I had to move it way back so that you could see my whole table. So even when you get a new one, you want to stir, stir, stir. Make sure that all of the oils and the pigments are incorporated and looking beautiful. And it is nice and smooth, so I'm just going to leave it just like it is. It's perfect. So my plan is to have all of the lettering in white. I think I'm going to do all of the smaller kind of snowflakes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in blue, and then I'm going to do an ombre technique on these larger ones. You guys ever seen ombre before? That's a really cool technique. I'm going to need some paper towels for that. I know they're here somewhere. I could have sworn I put them right behind me. There they are. It's a mess in here because I moved everything. Alright, so let me grab one of these. And we'll get going. Alright, so since I'm starting at the top of this design, I'm going to start with the snowflakes. So I'm going to hold this up so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So there's a couple larger snowflakes up here on the top, and then there's a smaller one, a larger one, a smaller, smaller, larger, and a smaller one down there. So I'm going to start with the larger one and show you how to do that ombre technique. This is so pretty. Wait till you see how it works. I wish I could get you closer, but I was having some trouble with my my Wi-Fi earlier last week, and I'm kind of freaked out that it's going to happen again, so I'm just going to leave it like it is. So to do this ombre technique, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread a little bit of the blue kind of in the center of that snowflake, and then I'm going to put some white around the outer parts, and then I will take my finger, dampen it just a little bit, and I'm going to blend those two colors together. It's a really, really beautiful effect. So you're ready? All right. I'm going to start, maybe I'll get a couple smaller squeegees too here. So we have lots of different sizes of squeegees, and today I am using a couple of mini squeegees, and this is called a small squeegee. So I'm just going to start by putting some blue right in the center of that snowflake. Hoping you guys can see what I'm doing here. And I'm just smoothing it on, kind of like buttering toast across. You know, I'm not trying to stay in the lines or anything. I'm just kind of putting this towards the center of the snowflake in a circular kind of fashion. And then I'm going to come back and scrape off most of the excess chalk that's on there. It's really wonderful that there's very, very little waste using our products, because anything that you don't need, you scrape off and put right back in the jar like that. Now I'm going to go in with the white, and I'm just going to finish up doing the extra kind of like branches or arms that come off of the snowflake. And like I said before, you don't have to stay in the lines. I'm actually kind of avoiding the blue area so that I don't contaminate my colors and blend them back together in the jar. So almost done already. Giving that a nice thin coat because I'm going to blend them as soon as I'm finished. A little bit over here. Okay, so I've got that pretty much covered, and as I said before, I'm just going to spray a little water on my finger, tap it on a towel, and I'm making like a circular swirling motion between the white and the blue chalk that I just applied, making sure that blends nicely. That looks pretty nice. Okay, I'm going to wipe my finger off, and then we'll pull this transfer back while it is still wet. Yeah, it's pretty. So I'm going to hold this up and see if you can see it. Let me move my chalks a little bit. Hello, Christine, how are you? And hi, Pat, thanks for joining me. Just getting started on this project, and we're doing a little bit of ombre. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that up close, can you? Move it as close as I can without dropping it. So it's got light blue in the center and white around the edges. So I pulled the transfer up so that the chalk paste does not dry and attach itself to the transfer. Pulled it back and it is safe now. I'm going to let it go down. I refer to this as let it fall lightly, because I'm just going to put the transfer down and let it fall. I'm not going to rub that back down. We're all done with that area. So next I'm going to work this larger kind of snowflake up in this corner in the same fashion. I'm going to take the blue. How's everybody doing tonight? You guys, it was colder in Arizona than it was at home. What the heck? Spreading that blue over it. Now I'm going to go back with the white, add that in. And if you can't see this up close, I promise I will post a picture of it later. Maybe tomorrow when the lighting is better in my house. I'll take a picture of it and post it in the comments here. So I'm going over this with white. A little bit more. Just a little bit. And scraping off the excess back into the jar. Miss Mary, hello. Okay, again, wet my fingertips so it's damp, and I'm doing those circular motions to blend the areas, between the blue and the white together. It's a good catch, huh? Okay, that looks pretty good. You're tired. What are you tired from? I know the feeling. And so there is my second blue snowflake, blue and white. It's really, really pretty. I wish you guys were a little bit closer so I could show you up close. And when I'm done, I'll bring it closer to the screen. How about that? Okay, so the next area that I'm going to work is this part where it says silver white, and we've got a couple little white snowflakes in there. And I'm just going to use the white paste for that. Keeping it simple. So I'm just loading up my squeegee with paste and spreading it across the screen area. You can see that you don't have to stay in the lines. This is something that anybody can do. I can't draw a stick figure, you guys, so if I can do this, you can. I'm scraping off the excess, pulling that all off. I kind of use a snowplow motion with my squeegee so it scoops it right up, back in the jar. Okay, so after you've done this a little while, you can do a larger area. You kind of get a feel for how quickly everything dries. Working and baking. Oh. Yeah, I gotta stop eating. I'm going on a cruise soon. What are you baking though? I just gotta ask. So there's our word silver white. I wish I had my overhead camera, but it wouldn't have worked with this big project. So that looks good. It's a little rustic looking, and it is supposed to. There are actually like blemishes worked right into the transfer, so it has that kind of old-fashioned look that I love. So I have a little snowflake right here, and that's going to be in blue. Oh, you're making cookies. Thank you, Mary. Didn't you live in Arizona? Did you live there? That's where I just came back from. You didn't tell me they had fruit trees in Arizona. I was like, what are those? I thought all the fruit grew in Florida. I'm such a New England girl. Okay, so I'm going to go with the blue and this small little cute little snowflake here. Just quickly spreading and scraping off all the excess. Yeah, I was kind of surprised. It was in the 40s while it was there. And I called my husband here in Massachusetts, and he was on the golf course. It was 60 degrees. That's just not right. You go all the way there, and it's going to be cold. It was in like 46 degrees one day. So I'm going to peel this back. Every time I pull it back, it looks prettier. It's really fun. Lake, I can't even say that. Havasu? I don't know. We were in Scottsdale. And we got to go to Old Town, which I heard was a cool place to go. I think we went to the wrong area though, because there wasn't much there other than little kind of tchotchke shops. Okay, so I'm going to use a bigger squeegee now because I'm going to do the word winter, and that is a bigger area. And I could use a small one, but it would take a little bit more time, so I'm going to quicken it up with the larger squeegee, called the small squeegee. Also some of those little tiny snowflake dots that you might see around the edges. And then we're going to pull this like we've been doing the whole design. Mary, we got to talk one of these days. Okay, so you can see how quickly I'm working this word here. I'm just covering it. It's, again, it's like buttering toast. Pretty hard to get it wrong. The worst thing that can happen is that it can dry before you lift the transfer, in which case you either clean it off and start over, or sometimes you can go right over it. So you can see there's not that much to scrape on this. As I was saying before, after you've done this for a while, you kind of get a feeling for how much chalk you need. And I think I figured it out. So I'm going to pull this back. It's really cute. I love it. That's okay, Mary. I think I have jet lag. Although, you know, I've been hearing from a lot of the girls that I was at the conference with that influenza A and B is going around. So I'm hoping that I'm just feeling worn down because I was staying up too late and on airplanes way too late, and then I couldn't sleep last night. I think I had a little jet lag and I'm still tired. So I'm just going to let this fall back gently. Rub down the word that, and I should be ready to continue along on this page. What am I saying? Finish this up. There's the word of that. Little couple little snowballs over there. And we'll do this one here. So this is actually a class that I'm doing later this week. And guess what? Guess who didn't have time to get a sample made? I try, you know, I have a lot of things to do. Today I went to a Christmas show for my grandson's kindergarten class. It was really cute. He's a little fashion plate. He has to wear certain clothes. You know how kids get attached to their clothes. His is bow ties, suspenders, and tight jeans. He's a riot. A riot named Wyatt. He's a nut. God, I love that boy. Well, thank you, Miss Pat. It's coming along, and I really love it. Okay, so come on, this little spot's giving me a hard time here. All right, that is scraped, and I'm going to pull this and then work a couple snowflakes. Thanks for keeping me company tonight, you guys. Alrighty, so I'm going to pull this back. Remember, we're doing this so that the transfer doesn't have dried chalk on it. If the chalk dries, it'll come right up with the transfer. So I will be holding this up so you can see it better in just a few minutes. As soon as I'm done, actually, so you can get a better look at it. And I'll also post a picture of it tomorrow when I have better lighting in my living room. Alright, so I've got another larger kind of snowflake here that I'm going to do the same technique with the ombre. So I'm bringing the blue into the center, and I'm just spreading that around part of the snowflake, kind of in the center area, and some of the branches, but I think it looks really cool with the white on the tips. White on the tips. So I think my grandson's favorite song in his Christmas show today was the Rock and Roll Snowman. He was so cute. Okay, so I'm going around the edges with the white since I've already filled the center with blue. Get the white in there. If you guys want to S-H-A-R-E this video with your friends, I'm not supposed to say that word. If you would like to do that though, please do. Doing that is like the best compliment you can possibly give me, sharing, oops, I said the word. Sprinkling this all over with your friends. So I'm going to wet my finger, just make it a little bit damp, tap it on a paper towel, and I'm going to go in and blend with little swirling motions all around where the two colors meet. All right. Hey, Megan. All right, so we are more than halfway through this beautiful project. Not taking too long, huh? And there is that snowflake too. I wish you guys could see it. I'm so sorry I couldn't get the angles right for you to be able to see this whole project today. It was just too big. So I think I'm going to grab these two snowflakes with blue. Then I'll pull again and do springs and then finish up with these snowflakes here. So I'll start over here, spreading it all over the design. And remember, this is like buttering toast, you guys. You don't have to have an art degree at all. How are you, Megan? How's the weather in your neighborhood? Got any snow? This is the year of no snow in Massachusetts. Come on. Alright, almost done. And scooping up the excess, sticking it back into the jar. This color was really pretty. It's called Morning Sky. So while I was in Arizona, we got a brand new catalog, which we will be launching the first part of February. But we have lots of designs that are going to be leaving our product line. So if there are some, especially seasonal ones, but lots more that you've had your eye on, you know, check with me to see if it's going to be available, or just grab it while you can, because, you know, you never know when they're going to come and go. So pretty. This looks really good, you guys. You can even do this, like, if you had a new baby in your house, like pinks and blues. Oh my gosh, how cute would that be? So if you're just coming in, please say hello. Hello, hello. All right, so we're going to finish up the words next. And I'm thinking that I might start pulling it from this end over. It might be a little bit easier, since I don't have to pull the whole thing back, right? So I'm going to grab some of my white paste, as always. Sometimes when you're working with it, it does start thicken up, so you want to watch for that. If it starts to feel thick, just give it a little squirt of water or a couple drops and stir, stir, stir till it's about the consistency of cake batter. If it feels like brownie batter or anything heavier than cake batter, you're going to want to water that baby. Give it a drink. Okay, here we go. We're getting there. So, can anybody tell me what movie made Silver White Winters a famous song? Christine, I know you know this answer. Hello, Miss Celine. We're doing a beautiful winter project. I'm not ready to think about spring yet, so we're doing winter. And I have some more projects planned. I'm going to try to go live a lot this month. So I have some winter things, and I have some Valentine's and some all occasion kind of things. You're going to have to pop in and say hello, and be sure to sprinkle this all over your Facebook friends by hitting that S-H-A-R-E tab. Guess I'm not supposed to say that word anymore. All right. So I'm just going to grab a couple. There's a little tiny snowballs right there. And not too much excess. Scrape that back back off though, but I'm going to pull from this end this time, so I don't have to pull a whole giant transfer up. So I always start pulling from the corner, but as soon as you can grab it from the center, the better, because pulling it from the corners all the time will kind of stretch your transfer some, so you want to be really cautious of that. So this is looking beautiful. I'm so glad that you guys are here to see this. I'm also really grateful that my software is holding up and not crashing like it has been lately. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Okay, that's going back down. I can thank God for that, right? Why not? All right, so I've got a large snowflake down here that I'm also going to ombre, and I'm going to do this one in the light blue, and we will be done. Done, done, done. So I will start on this end with the center of the blue, of the snowflake in blue. It's just a really pretty, like icy blue. I really like it. Wasn't sure, but I do like it. So I try to use light colors on dark surfaces and dark colors on light surfaces. Does that make sense? This is also a really fun project because there's no layering, which can be, you know, sometimes a little challenging, but Christine, you got it, huh? You know how to do that. Salini, Salini. How are you feeling? I hear some people aren't feeling good from the conference, which is not good. Not good. All my friends are coming down with influenza. I'm not going to, though. I refuse. Not happening. Okay, so I've got all that covered and scraped. Wet my finger again. Tap it off and doing that little swirling motion all over in between the blue and the white to get that kind of an ombre effect. If you're just jumping in, I'm sorry you can't see this really well. This is such a large surface that I couldn't fit it in the way that I normally do my lives, so I will bring it over to the camera as soon as I'm done, and I will also take a photo and post it in the comments tomorrow morning. Flu shot me? No. No, I don't know. I don't know why I don't, but I don't. So one more snowflake to go. Did you get one, Christine? I don't know. You know me, I don't like taking Tylenol and stuff, so. I don't know. Probably silly. I guess it's not too late. You can still get one if you want one, according to the sign at CVS. Okay, this is the last snowflake. Can you believe it? How long have we been on here? I'll have to check and see how long this took. But it has been fun and enjoyable. Okay. So, while we're finishing up, if you are not part of my VIP group, which is perfect if you are local to me, because I post all of my events in there, including this one. And I also do some specials in there. So if you're interested in being in my VIP group, please comment VIP in the comments. I also have a monthly, wow, Christine, that's amazing. I have a monthly chalk club where you can be mailed an exclusive transfer, a B-size transfer, much smaller than this one, but a great size. Chalk paste singles and great ideas on what to do with that exclusive transfer every single month. So just write club in the comments. Oh, this is pretty. So club, if you are interested in getting paid to craft like I am, which is the best job ever, write join in the comments and I'll get you some information. So we are almost done. I'm going to turn this around so you can see it. Let me see if I can back it up a little bit and then I'll back it forward. Isn't that gorgeous? I think it's so pretty. All right, I'm going to bring it close now, so hold on, so you can see the ombre and all that good stuff too. Here we go. All right, who's singing the song? Silver white winters that melt into springs. There we go. I know, I'm goofy. I sing in my lives. I can't help it. Everything turns into a song for me. So let me go closer so you can see how that ombre looks. See how it's lighter in the, it's light blue in the center and white on the edges. Really easy to do, as you can see. All right, and I will definitely take a really good picture of this tomorrow so you can see it up close and personal. So, let's see, let me put this down. Thank you, Miss Mary and Christine and Pat. Glad you could join me tonight. So that is my demonstration tonight. I am going to try to be here tomorrow night as well. I try to schedule these things as often as I can. However, every now and then somebody needs a babysitter or something comes up, and I hate to make promises that I can't always keep, but I do try. I really do try. So again, if you could share this video with your friends, it's the best compliment you can give me. Thank you so much for that. If you're interested in coming to local events in Western Mass, or would like to hear about specials that come up here and there, make sure you write VIP in the comments. If you're interested in getting that monthly subscription, it's like, oh my gosh, I keep comparing these to like Bark Boxes. I have a few friends with dogs who have this subscription to something called Bark Box, and every month their dog gets this amazing surprise and they go nuts. Well, we have a chalk box like that too, and we can send it right to your door. So just post a club in the comments and I can make sure that you get involved in that. And if you think you would like to make money doing what I do, sharing Couture with other people, and there are so many different ways that you can do this. Chalky fingers, distracted. Some people go live on Facebook like this and other social media places. Other people teach project workshops, which I love to do. I love being with people and chalking with them. And other people like to create and sell their finished products. Whatever way you want to do it is up to you. So let me know. Write the word join in the comments and we will get back to you all about that. Thanks again for spending your evening with me. Thank you for telling me it's pretty. I think it's really pretty too. And I'll try to pop back in tomorrow night, okay? Thank you so much, and I will be seeing you soon. Have a great night.